Have you ever witnessed a sporting rivalry so intense that it transcends the boundaries of the racetrack and spills over into the realms of words and opinions? Well, buckle up, because in the high-octane world of Formula 1, that's exactly what's happening between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. History was made at the Italian Grand Prix on Sunday when Max Verstappen won his 10th race in a row, eclipsing the record held by Sebastian Vettel since 2013. Max, armed with the awe-inspiring Red Bull RB19, has not only squeezed every drop of potential from his car, but also exhibited an unmatched mastery on track. The Italian Grand Prix showcased his finesse when he patiently stalked Carlos Sainz's Ferrari until the perfect moment to seize the lead on lap 15. It was a display of skill and strategy that left spectators in awe. And while words can no longer describe Verstappen's performance, there is someone in the paddock who seems to be downplaying his achievements. And that someone is none other than Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen's predecessor as King of Formula 1. Hamilton said ahead of the Italian Grand Prix that what Verstappen is doing is something that has been seen before in the sport, and many times. I'm no more impressed than when Michael Schumacher was leading, when Sebastian Vettel was leading, when Kimi Raikkonen was leading, when Fernando Alonso was winning. Same, he said. Well, Hamilton has a point. Verstappen is neither the first nor will be the last to dominate and mark an era in Formula 1. However, the 7-time world champion went further. Firstly, he questioned the treatment Verstappen receives in the media, and then claimed that he had tougher teammates. Hamilton expressed, "The narrative that goes through the media, when I qualified half a second, 6/10 ahead of Valtteri Bottas, they didn't say the same thing as they say today when Max qualifies 6/10 ahead of Perez. It's blown up much more. And in my personal opinion, Valtteri and actually all of my teammates have been stronger than the teammates that Max has had. Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Valtteri, Nico Rosberg. I've had so many. These guys have all been very consistent, and Max has not raced against anyone like that." Wow, this is a strong statement from Hamilton, and we'll get to it in depth in an upcoming video to analyze if the Brit is right about who had the better teammates. Oh, and while we're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the Grid Report to stay up to date on the world of Formula 1. Let's continue. Naturally, Verstappen's response came, and it was harsh too. Maybe he's a little bit jealous of our current success. I don't know why he says that. Maybe he thinks there is something to win or defend with comments like that. But for me, it doesn't matter at all, he said. And then he aimed at Mercedes as a team, saying they struggle to accept that they are no longer at the top of Formula 1. I think it's very difficult for Mercedes to deal with losing. That's the problem you have when you've won for so many years, of course. And he gave them this nice piece of advice. You can keep saying that the things we are achieving at the moment are not that special, or at least that is probably what they think. But in the end, you just have to focus on yourself, because that is the only thing that you can influence. Verstappen's words seemed a little foreboding, as after taking his unprecedented 10th consecutive win at Monza, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff himself sought to play it down. I don't know if he, Verstappen, cares about the records. It's not something that would be important for me, those numbers. It is for Wikipedia, and nobody reads that anyway. And how did Red Bull's management respond to these comments? Well, Helmut Marko took matters in hand to put Mercedes in their place. At the end of the day, Red Bull has won 24 of the last 25 races, right? Marko said, "This is the difference between Mercedes and ourselves. We look at our team to get the best performance out of our team, and we don't worry about Mercedes as long as they are not a serious competitor for us. So we just look at our own stuff. We do our best. We don't make up all these kinds of stories like they are doing." Now, why are Hamilton and Wolff attacking Verstappen and Red Bull? At the end of the day, such comments don't come from the Ferrari camp, or the Aston Martins or the McLarens. Is it really jealousy, or is there an agenda behind it? Often the simplest explanation is the true one, and here that may be the fact that Hamilton and Wolff still have open wounds from the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix when Verstappen overtook the Briton on the final lap of the season after a restart that followed a controversial procedure by race control that the FIA later accepted was mishandled. On that day, Hamilton missed a chance to win his 8th World Championship, something that, like Verstappen's 10 consecutive victories, no one has ever achieved in Formula 1 history. Hamilton feels he was robbed that day, and while the decision to restart the race the way it was done was not made by either Verstappen or Red Bull, he and his boss seem to point the finger at them when they are frustrated. Hamilton has just extended his contract with Mercedes by 2 years. We have a video on the grid report about it that we invite you to watch, so he will be on the grid until at least the end of 2025. Hopefully Mercedes can give him a car competitive enough to challenge Verstappen, so he can perhaps express his frustration on the track and not in the media. It's something I'm sure all Formula 1 fans would like to see. That's it for today from the grid report, and see you soon.